Japan continues to create new electrical and electronic goods at an astonishing pace. One example is a fridge that boosts the vitamin content of vegetables. And this washing machine even does the ironing. Coming in a wide range of models and delivering high levels of reliability and performance, Japanese appliances are well known around the world. Recent years have seen the mushrooming of mass merchandise stores, offering vast selections of home appliances at low prices. These huge shops even draw tourists from other countries. It was after the Second World War that electrical appliances found their way into Japanese homes. Japanese manufacturers improved on foreign-made electrical goods to capture markets, first in Japan and then around the world. The industry developed a steady stream of breakthrough products that helped to expand Japan's economy. In Japan, the history of appliances is also the history of Japan's post-war economic revival. On this edition of Begin Japanology, we look at home appliances, how past generations of products powered Japanese economic growth, and also the trends visible in the latest models.
Hello and welcome to Begin Japanology. I'm Peter Barakan. Our theme for today is home appliances. I'm in Shinjuku, which is one of Tokyo's fiercest battlegrounds of appliance retailing, with over 20 large stores within just a few minutes' walk of Shinjuku Station, each giving an enormous selection of goods. This kind of concentration of rival shops, of course, makes for heated, fierce competition, and lots of people come long distances to Shinjuku to pick up appliances at bargain prices. Let's get started by exploring a brand new megastore to see what Japanese appliances are like and how they're sold.
Every day, people come in droves to Shinjuku to buy home appliances. I came in from the suburbs today. We've had our washing machine for about 10 years, and with all the new models that have come out since then, I wanted to see what's available. Let's tag along with these women as they shop to see how a Japanese mass appliance retailer is set up. This one has 2 basement levels, 7 floors above ground, and a staggering 700,000 items on display. On this vast sales floor, all the displays and shelving rise no higher than 135 centimeters to make it easier to see what products are where. Our 2 customers are drawn to a display of TVs for sale. But the picture on this TV appears to be a bit blurry, doesn't it? In fact, this is a 3D TV that has just been launched. When you put on the special glasses, the images on the screen seem to pop right out at you. It really has impact. Now I want one of these too. Where are they heading next? To the refrigerator sales floor. This shop stocks more than 100 different models. They range in size from small units for those living alone to extra large ones for big families. And in the effort to be different, each manufacturer comes up with unique features for its models. This refrigerator offers vacuum storage of leftover food or raw meat and fish. It can keep food fresh longer than an ordinary fridge. And here's the world's first fridge with a mechanism to boost the vitamin content of vegetables. The secret is this lamp. Using special LEDs, it causes the stored vegetables to photosynthesize and make vitamin C. The people of Japan are renowned for their love of cleanliness. Vacuum cleaners too offer many innovations. More and more Japanese are suffering from hay fever, so there has been a parade of new models that filter out the pollen and house dust that cause allergic reactions. This item works by first wrapping a wet tissue around the cleaning head. The wet tissue wipes away particles that are too fine to be sucked up. After cleaning, the hose can be removed to turn the vacuum cleaner into an air purifier, so the appliance does double duty. Amazing! Our two customers finally make their way to the space-selling washing machines, the original reason for their shopping trip. Washing machines that double as dryers are very popular in Japan. In cramped Japanese housing, products that occupy only a small space are a must. You are looking for a washing machine? Yes, one that has a built-in dryer, deodorizes and requires very little water. I don't mind who the manufacturer is. Shop staff are experts in the specific type of appliance they sell. Besides explaining the features of new products, they can offer finely tuned suggestions based on the shopper's budget, type of home, and so on. This washing machine uses ozone to eliminate bacteria and odors. It can sterilize items without using any water at all. It cleans suits, coats, and other garments that a conventional washing machine would ruin. And this washing machine even has a function for ironing during the drying stage. By blowing air at 360 kilometers per hour, it can de-wrinkle garments like an iron does. This machine recirculates water. It draws water from the bottom and pours it down from above. Oh, so the water comes out of the sides and is recirculated. Ah, I see. So that's how it can provide powerful washing, even though it uses less water. The two women are interested in this water-saving washing machine. Now it's down to the serious business of haggling. Manufacturers release new models of washing machines and refrigerators once a year, and it's that time of year right now. Japanese appliances undergo frequent model updates. When new models come out, there are big discounts to be had on the old ones. Sticker prices that are slashed out indicate that the item can be had for an even lower price. There is ferocious price competition among big Japanese retailers. Many purposely do not openly display prices to keep rivals in the dark about what goods are actually selling for in their stores. How low the price goes depends on the customer's haggling skills. I realize that to buy wisely, you have to read advertising flyers and do price comparisons of various stores. In Japan, both manufacturers and retailers are in a heated non-stop battle with competitors to capture consumers. That has been a major factor in Japan's transformation into a home appliances giant.
I'm actually visiting the megastore that you just saw in the video now. They sell just about every kind of electrical appliance here. Some of the most popular ones recently have been energy-saving devices. There's a twofold reason for their popularity. One is that it helps you save on your electricity bill, and the other one is it gives you a comparatively clear conscience about not contributing too much to global warming. Take, for example, this air conditioning unit behind me here. It has a built-in sensor that can tell when there's people in the room. When you're moving around, it will automatically adjust the strength of the airflow and the direction of it as well. If it senses motion, it will drop the temperature a little bit. But if you've been sitting down reading a book, for example, for a while, it will then raise it up again. In Japan, they often use the word eco, or eco as they pronounce it here, to describe energy-saving appliances. And recently, the Japanese government has introduced what they call an eco points system, whereby every time you buy an eco appliance, you get points which you can accumulate and then trade in later for various products. There are new appliances coming onto the market constantly to meet the ever-changing needs of consumers, and keeping up with those needs requires an enormous effort on the part of both manufacturers and retailers, as we'll see in the next segment.
This is a small home appliances shop in a Tokyo suburb. You see places like this all over Japan. Each one is tied to a single major manufacturer by an exclusive distribution agreement. Shops like this exist not only to sell the manufacturer's products, but also to provide services more closely tailored to each customer. The owner of this shop, Ichiro Sekiyama, has been running it for 40 years. The local area has a lot of apartment blocks, and the residents provided a ready market for his home appliances. Japan's small retailers are known for their attentive user support. If there's any problem with something they sold, they typically send someone right over. A rising number of service calls are from customers who are having trouble figuring out how to use increasingly complex home appliances. Today it's a woman who doesn't understand the remote control for her TV. It's so irritating, I have to go channel by channel. Simple calls like this are free of charge. Sometimes people need help urgently. When I have a problem with a product, I call the shop immediately, and they help me. I really appreciate it. I want to be like a doctor who makes house calls. That involves caring for everyone. I come right away when someone has a problem, even late at night. That's important. The manufacturer he represents has a network of around 6,000 of these small exclusive retail outlets across Japan. They provide the nuts and bolts frontline service to keep customers satisfied. Meanwhile, manufacturers continue striving to develop products that meet the wants and needs of Japanese consumers. This house was built 8 years ago for research in home appliances. The company set out to improve its understanding of how consumers feel about products by having them use items in a real living space. The findings of this research have been reflected in numerous products. This control panel is one example. Previously, these panels were black. But how does the panel look to someone with impaired vision? The company developed special goggles to find out. And they found that labels on the black panels were extremely hard to read. This control panel was made easier to use by making the colors brighter and the lettering larger. Researchers also wear clothes with weights attached as they use products, in order to replicate the experience of elderly or pregnant consumers with physical limitations. This made them aware how hard it may be for some customers to remove clothes from the bottom of vertical drum washing machines. So the company developed inclined drum machines. With these, the user can take the laundry out more easily. As might be gathered from these examples, Japanese home appliance manufacturers vie with each other in research and development aimed at creating products that are easy for everyone to use. We investigate to find out where our customers have difficulties in daily life. And we add functions that address those challenges. Here's an electric hot water pot with a communications capability built in. As Japanese society ages rapidly, the number of elderly people living alone is rising. This product was developed especially with them in mind. In the bottom of the pot is a communication device. Whenever the elderly consumer uses the pot, it sends a text message to the mobile phone of a family member, wherever he or she might be. That allows, for example, a daughter living at a distance from an elderly mother to know that she is okay, without having to telephone her constantly. I know that my mother used the electric pot 15 minutes ago. It's very reassuring. Home appliances that are easy for anyone to use and put minds at ease. On both the manufacturing and retailing fronts, Japan's home appliance industry is working to meet the needs of the times.
I'm now in the city of Kawasaki, which is right next to Tokyo, and this is a museum set up by one of Japan's major home appliance makers. In this room, they have on display an array of antique appliances, some of which go all the way back to the 19th century. This is Japan's first ever refrigerator, which was made in 1930, and I'm amazed at how big it is. I can remember we had one much smaller in the early 60s when I was a kid. This, also from 1930, is Japan's first ever washing machine. And from 1 year later, 1931, Japan's first ever vacuum cleaner. After the Second World War, Japan's home appliance industry developed internationally by leaps and bounds. How did Japan manage to achieve such rapid progress? Let's take a look at the history of home appliances in Japan.
It was after the Second World War that home appliances began to spread throughout Japan. The occupying US forces wanted to impress the Japanese populace with the wonderful ways of American life. Films portraying it were shown in schools across Japan. These films revealed a prosperous lifestyle filled with the latest home appliances. But the Western-made appliances that Japanese families dreamed of owning turned out to be too large and heavy. The imports simply were not right for Japanese homes. Then along came Konosuke Matsushita. His creative ideas and innovations improved many appliances and launched new kinds of home electric and electronic goods. This is a double cluster socket that Matsushita invented. In Japan's typically cramped living quarters in the post-war years, it was common for siblings to share a room. Matsushita overheard two sisters quarreling over the use of a power socket. One of them wanted to do the ironing, the other wanted a light to read by. Clearly, some people wanted to use the same socket for different purposes at the same time. The double cluster socket that Matsushita invented became a big hit product. His company went on to develop a series of appliances suited to Japanese lifestyles. This was a compact tabletop dishwasher designed to fit small Japanese kitchens. The tabletop idea was a Japanese original. This vacuum cleaner was the first in the world to be equipped with a sensor that could detect dust and mites too small for the eye to see. Japanese consumers, with their love of cleanliness, were delighted with it. Matsushita said that business was not about what you had to do to sell products, but what you could do to give customers satisfaction and joy. Matsushita always developed products from the customer's perspective. And in doing so, his company grew into one of Japan's leading home appliance makers. In the late 1950s, when Japan's economy began to blossom, so did the Japanese love affair with home appliances. The TV, refrigerator, and washing machine became known as the three sacred treasures that every household had to own. Each of Japan's home appliance manufacturers rolled out a parade of original Japanese products with distinctive touches. This was a video cassette recorder for use at home. Compact, lightweight, and easy to transport, it quickly found widespread favour in Japan. And this was the world's first portable headphone stereo. It proved to be wildly popular, enabling people to listen to music as they rode the train to work. It was the forerunner of the portable music players that are now ubiquitous worldwide. The many home appliances resulting from improvements by Japanese manufacturers for easier use have also captured the fancy of consumers around the world.
Since ancient times, Japan has imported much of its culture from abroad, but Japanese people have a unique way of modifying the things that they bring in, and appliances are no exception to the rule. For example, what do you think this is? It's an electronic calculator from 1965, and it weighs 18 kilograms. Well, we all know what Japanese people did with electronic calculators in the ensuing years, don't we? And this television here, this one's from 1960. It's a 21-inch television. Just look at the size of that. The depth of it is about the same as the width. And, I mean, you think what a 21-inch television looks like these days. It's about that thin. There are some of these vintage appliances that are just absolutely beautiful. I was taken with this here. It's a valve radio from 1956. And even in the 1950s, they got the size down to this size. And it's got the dial for the tuner on the top. Isn't that amazing? These days there are new models coming onto the market practically every day, but at the same time many people feel a strong affection for vintage appliances. Next we're going to meet a nostalgia buff and hear why.
The city of Iga in Mie Prefecture. We're here to meet an avid collector of vintage home appliances. He's the proprietor of a restaurant, Jun Tominaga. He serves up traditional Japanese fare. But where do the appliances fit in? Tominaga is one of Japan's foremost collectors of post-war home appliances. Look inside his restaurant and you'll see it's packed with fans, radios, and this stereo, all nostalgic vintage items. He's particularly proud of this black and white TV. It was made in 1960, but the picture still looks just fine. This set is special because it has a remote control, which is connected to the TV by a cord. Keep pressing the white button and it will keep changing the channels. Here's another hit product from those days. It's a filter that makes the picture on a black and white TV look just a bit as if it were in color. Tominaga collected these post-war home appliances during his years as an office worker. But he wanted to create a place with the ambience of bygone days, surrounded by vintage home appliances and electronics. So 7 years ago, he quit his job and opened this restaurant. He also keeps a lot of vintage appliances at home. His house is overflowing with electrical and electronic goods of all sorts. His collection numbers more than 7,000 items in all. He also rents a storage space near his home. Lately, he's been getting more and more calls from film and TV producers who want to use vintage appliances and electronics from his collection in dramas set in the post-war years. This is a local hotel. Part of Tominaga's collection is on display here today. Some of these items were used in filming a movie set half a century ago. These days, there's a booming nostalgia in Japan for those early post-war decades. In Japanese minds, that was when the whole country was confidently moving forward in pursuit of its ambition. These vintage products don't have the lean and efficient designs of modern home appliances and electronics. Instead, they have that good old handcrafted feel. They came from an era when people looked to the future, and they help people to imagine all kinds of new possibilities. For Japanese people, home appliances are not just practical objects. They also serve as mementos of the path of progress that Japan has followed.
I'm now visiting the showroom of a major home appliance manufacturer in Tokyo's Ariake district. And we're going to take a peek now at what may be the future of home appliances. This room is designed to represent the living room of the future. There's no appliances in it, but this whole wall here is one giant display screen, and it changes into all sorts of different forms. For example, there's a picture of some flowers over there on the extreme right, and that becomes a giant television screen which is within this whole display. And you can see it's now changed to an ocean view, and that will change into some other things, some sunflowers. And you'll be amazed at what's going to happen next. The whole wall turns into this vast TV display. That is really pretty impressive. It keeps changing because this is a demo set up for visitors to the showroom, but I think you get the picture of what's going on here. Now, a little bit of magic, if I can get this right, okay? And I now have a menu of different things I can do, and I'm going to choose a little video clip. There we go. And if I get closer to the wall, the screen gets smaller. If I walk away from the wall, it enlarges. And then if I'm walking around the room like this, it actually follows me. Don't expect to see this in your local shop anytime soon, but the way that appliances have been changing in this country over the last several decades, you really never know. I'll see you again next time.